hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have 16 of my best coastal Valentine's Day DIYs using supplies from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use one of these little pink hearts. I just got one of those the other day from the Dollar Tree with the glitter all over it. One of the wood hearts from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to use one of these pieces of removable wallpaper in my favorite pattern, the tropical leaf pattern. So I wanted to do something really fun with these hearts, so you will see how they turn out. So I'm just going to go ahead and just use the heart as a template to draw that out on the back of the wallpaper, and I'm simply going to cut this out. Have you guys worked with this wallpaper before? I love it. I've used it on so many DIYs for every single season, and it's just so beautiful. Look how pretty that is. I think that'd be really pretty if you were actually to cover a wall with it as well. So it's just a giant sticker now, so we're just going to peel and stick that onto the little heart, the wood heart that we have. And I love those. Those pieces are so easy to DIY with. I just got a couple more of those. Now I'm going to sand around the edges to make sure that I got perfect cut. And then I wanted to frame it out with some twine. This is the thicker twine that you get at Walmart. It's a little thicker than the twine that you get at the Dollar Tree. But I just wanted like a very simple rope border to go around this sign. And so I'm just going to use hot glue. And we're just going to glue this all the way around. So what I was thinking with this is I wanted something like really tropical, really coastal, but for Valentine's Day. And I think this turned out so fun. So that looks pretty good. We have a great back piece for the little heart. And I'm just going to poke holes so we can go ahead and reattach the hanger that came with it. And easy peasy, that's so much easier than painting it, right? And so I thought this heart could go on there, but I wanted to do something really fun with it. So I'm just going to remove the hanger, and I'm going to use some of this pink burlap that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I thought that we can make these hearts look like flamingos, like two flamingo necks and like their little flamingo beaks like touching each other, like almost like kissing. And so I'm just simply wrapping the glitter with the pink burlap, and it's going to just tone down that pink glitter. And this is like a kind of a perfect color, I think, for a flamingo. You can kind of still see a little bit of glitz and glam through the fabric, but that's okay. I think it toned it down a lot. So just went all the way around like that with the burlap until it's covered like this. And it looks pretty cute like that, right? But I thought we can make this into flamingos. So to do that, I'm going to start with some chalk paint. This is the color ink. You don't have to use chalk paint, but it does work really well for coverage on fabric. And then I'm just going to start painting like where the beaks would be of the flamingos. And just kind of judging how big each one should be so they're kind of like uniform. And can you already kind of see it where it's like two flamingos like kissing? I thought that was a really fun idea. It's not what I originally planned to do with this heart, but I was so glad I came up with this idea. Now I'm going to paint this part of the beak white. And that's going to kind of simulate like the way that a beak looks on a flamingo. And this is just like ivory paint, and I'm just going to do that on both sides. And then I was trying to think how I could do eyes for these flamingos. I thought about using like googly eyes or something like that, but I thought that would look, kind of childlike and cartoonish. And I had some of these little wood half beads, and I thought they'd be perfect because if you have them upside down, it's going to give you a very flat eyeball look, which is kind of like what a flamingo has. So I'm just going to paint the back of those little wood rounds, half beads. And then once I get them painted like an ivory color, I'm just going to draw like a very simple like pupil on there with just a black Sharpie. And I think this gave it a little bit more of an elegant look compared to like a googly eye. And so I'm just going to attach those with hot glue, kind of where I think they would go on a flamingo. And we have 2 little kissing flamingos for Valentine's Day. Isn't that fun? I love this idea. So I'm going to attach it to the heart sign that we made. That's going to be the background. And so I'm just going to go all over the back of it with hot glue. It is foam, but since I have the burlap on there now, it's not going to cause any problems with the foam. And I'm going to glue that down to the heart. Now, I wanted to make it a little bit more substantial. I thought that the Dollar Tree sign was a little thin, and so I'm actually going to build it out a little bit more. Now, this is just a thrift flip sign that I found at Goodwill, and it had a great frame, but I just kind of wanted to cover the background. And so I am just creasing it out with some more of that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree, and that way I'll know where to cut. And I can get a pretty good estimate of what I can use to cover that. And this is just like the white board. I did cut it a little thinner than I wanted, but that's okay because I can always kind of patch it together here with a piece that was left over. And it was kind of a busy sign, and so this is just a quick, easy way to cover that up without painting it. So I'm just going to peel and stick. I kind of like the color that the frame already is. It's kind of like a bluish green color. And so I think that's going to make a fun background. And building this out on that, I'm just going to attach it to the frames with some hot glue on both sides. It's just going to make the piece a little bit more substantial because I really hate the thin Dollar Tree signs sometimes. I usually like to layer them. And so this is how it turned out, our little kissing flamingo heart. I think it's so fun. One of my very favorites. Okay, our next Valentine's DIY, we're going to use one of these little woodshop sailboats from the toy department at the Dollar Tree and some felt heart stickers from the Dollar Tree as well. And this is my first time building one of these little sailboats from one of these kits, but it could not have been any easier. It comes with all of the wood and pieces that you would need. Now, I thought I can make it look a little bit better than just the raw wood. So I'm just going to stain mine with a little antique wax by Waverly, going over that wood just to kind of make it look a little bit more high end. And I'm just going to go in and stain all the pieces now. Before I put it together, I thought it would be easier to do it now. And I'm just using a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree and then just wiping off any excess with a paper towel. I love staining stuff with the Antique Wax by Waverly just because it is so quick and simple and you don't have to wait for anything to dry. So it's got like these 2 little pieces here. The larger dowel, it's got the bottom of the boat, and you can see there's a couple other pieces as well. So this is a pretty simple construction for a sailboat, but it turned out really cute. I kind of like the simplicity of it, just a really fun DIY for Valentine's Day. So this is how you put it together. And don't worry, if you get one of these, it does have directions. I'm just going to use hot glue to put it together. It's just going to make everything that much faster and easier. And it works pretty good for this as well. Used a little bit too much there on the back. And then we're going to glue this piece down as well. And then we can start building this boat. So this is like the mast of the little sailboat. And then this little piece goes here, coming out the bottom. And I did have a little trouble with hot gluing that, but it actually kind of worked better, just kind of wedging it in there. I noticed that one of them was a little thicker than the other one, so I'm kind of seeing which one fits better in which hole, because it's not going to be perfectly drilled out. And then just twist it around. And now we have everything we need to make our little sailboat. So it comes with some string, so I'm going to kind of put that through the hole on the top, making sure I have that all glued down, and then tying that off down here at the tip of that, pulling it tight, and then tying it to the other side. Just a very simple construction for this sailboat, but it turned out really cute. Now for the sail, it came with like these little sails like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and start hot gluing that on just to the string, which makes this project go even easier. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with the other sail. Just kind of using what came with it, but if you wanted to do like your own custom sail fabric, that would be really cute as well. And then I'm also going to glue it to the bottom here. And I felt like a true kid putting this together. But that's okay, it turned out really cute. Now I wanted to decorate this for Valentine's Day, because you're like, Julie, this is a sailboat. What does it have to do with Valentine's Day? But I thought it would be a really cute little boat if I just take one of these little red felt stickers from the Dollar Tree and just decorate the sail. And now we have a little Valentine's Day decoration. Isn't it cute? I thought about using two, but I really liked one. I think it was really fun. And just a very quick, easy Dollar Tree DIY. You could even get the kids involved with this one. Okay, up next we're going to DIY one of these little wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. This is one of the slatted ones. What I'm going to do is I want to make this a driftwood heart for Valentine's Day, but I'm going to kind of leave the slats open, and so I'm just staining those all with some antique wax by Waverly to kind of give them a finish to start with, because it's easier to get to them at that point. Now I'm going to use driftwood, and I'm just going to cover like the individual slats of the heart with driftwood. And I am using the driftwood vase filler. I get this at Target. It's normally like $10 a box. It's a vase filler, so it's like back in that kind of department. At my Target is always on end stand, but it does go on sale from time to time, so I always try to stock up on this driftwood when it goes on sale, because it's great to craft with. It's really flat. The pieces are really easy to glue together like that. So you can kind of see I kind of had to, kind of do a pattern around the bottom just to fill that all the way in. But when you get to like the different like slats of it like this, it gets a little bit easier because you're just going straight across. And like I always say with these driftwood projects, it's just like putting together a puzzle. If one piece isn't going to work, you pick up another one and try it. And you just keep building and building until it's all filled in. I love making driftwood projects. They turn out so cute. And this is probably my favorite driftwood to work with. I have bought it from Amazon before. I do have some listed in my shop. You just don't get very many pieces with that. And it's usually kind of more of a rounded driftwood I have found. I really liked working with this flatter driftwood from Target. Now this top part is going to be a little bit more challenging trying to do that shape. But you have all different shapes and sizes of these, so you can just keep playing around with it until it works. And I'm just attaching all of them with hot glue. If I have to overlap it a little bit with the piece next to it, I totally do. I will just glue those together. But basically, I'm just trying to cover as much of this wood heart as I can with the driftwood. Now, as you can see, that stain that I did on the back slats, you know, is a lot darker than the driftwood. And that's the only thing I don't really like about the driftwood is that it's very light. But the great thing is that it's really easy to stain. So I'm just using a chunky brush from the Dollar Tree and some more antique wax by Waverly and going all over this heart. And it really brings out the character in that wood and makes it look really fun for like a driftwood project. Most of my driftwood projects that I have bought are more kind of this color of a driftwood instead of that really light driftwood. And I kind of wanted to stain it a little bit because I kind of wanted to build out on this a little bit. I kind of wanted it to have a little bit of a darker background. So while it's here, I'm going to go ahead and make a hanger. I'm just going to take some twine, some of that thick twine, and tie a knot. And I'm just going to attach that to the back here. And it's thick enough right here that I can just use a staple because we have all of that driftwood thickness as well. Now I thought I would decorate it. So I'm pulling out some of my collection. This is a starfish and a sand dollar that I got at Amazon. You can totally use the ones from a Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to do some seashells as well just to kind of decorate it a little bit. Just bring a little bit of fun to each tier of that little driftwood heart. I'm just kind of moving them around, seeing where I like them. I like the size of those sand dollars. They're a little bit smaller than the ones from the Dollar Tree. But just kind of playing around with it until I get it the way that I like it. I kind of like using the ivory colors all together. It's a nice contrast against that darker driftwood. Just going to finish it off here with another seashell. Look how cute that looks. I think this is really fun for Valentine's Day and really unexpected. And this is how our little driftwood slatted heart turned out from the Dollar Tree. So fun! Okay, the next DIY, I'm going to use a thrifted sign from Goodwill. I think I got this half off, so it was like 50 cents. But if you don't have a sign or a thrifted sign, you could always use one of these signs from the Dollar Tree. It's going to give you pretty much the same effect. And I just need to clean this up. I want to make my own canvas, and so I made my own fabric with sublimation. I did a video on this. I can't seem to find the footage of it, but I will share the design if you want to try this yourself with sublimation. You'd have to have a sublimation printer, or you can just print it out on paper and get the same effect with Mod Podge. So I was actually able to remove most of the image on there with just fingernail polish remover, which was a nice step here so that I can go ahead and kind of give myself a blank canvas here. I don't want any of that design coming through my fabric. So I'm just going to cover the little thrifted sign with ivory acrylic. And that is going to give us the perfect background to make our own little canvas here. I designed this image on Canva, and I will share it for sure. And I'm just kind of using an ink pen to kind of map out exactly where I need to cut this to fit inside that frame on that picture. Isn't this pretty? And it really reminds me of that little sailboat that we made with the little heart on the sail. And then I had it say love across. I think it's so pretty. And I'm just going to basically decoupage that on there. So if you don't have a sublimation printer to make your own fabric like I did, you could always do this with paper. But I love making my own fabric out of that white polyester from the Dollar Tree. It's so fun. So I just did a thick layer of Mod Podge, laid it down, and then I'm going to also Mod Podge on top to make sure that this fabric is sealed down. And it just really kind of gives the appearance of a canvas. And then I thought it needed a little bit of bling, and I'm going to use one of these little sequin heart that they have at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the red one because that's kind of what's on that boat. And I'm just going to attach it to the fabric with some hot glue. And I think these are a great way to add some bling to your Valentine's Day DIY. And we have our little love boat here. Now I wanted to finish it off a little bit more with another like little coastal touch. So I'm going to use some of this rope from the Dollar Tree. This is the thinner brown rope. And I'm just going to frame that out. I always like a good rope border on things. I think it really provides a little bit more texture, and it definitely gives a coastal touch to just about anything you use it on. And I'm just going to use one piece, cut it off, and hot glue that all the way around to finish off our little love boat canvas. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so fun. If I don't remember to post the link, remind me and I will post a link. Okay, are you ready for another Valentine DIY? I am going to use another thrifted sign. I think I got this one for $1.50. I kind of liked it because it was like slatted and wood, and I thought I can make a nice beachy sign out of this. But you can basically use whatever you've got. You can put a couple Dollar Tree signs together and get about the same size. I'm going to cover it again with that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree in my favorite design, these tropical leaves. As you can see though, it was a little bit shorter than my sign, but the great thing is the pattern repeats on these. See how you can line that up? Just like you were going to put it on a wall where you can have the pattern line up. And I'm just going to use just a small piece of another one to finish off the bottom part of this sign. And I kind of wanted to do a background with this one as well. I'm going to do another Valentine Thanksgiving DIY, but this one's going to look a little bit different than the first one we did. So just using my sanding sponge to give myself a clean cut on the edge of my sign. It gives you the perfect cut, and I love working with this stuff. Now, if you remember, that sign was slatted before, and I don't really want to lose that, even though I covered it up with that, with this paper. So I'm kind of finding like where the slats are and kind of creasing that in between. It's kind of almost like cutting it, and then I'm just going to go in and actually cut it with just a razor. So it looks like it's different slats of wood. I think that just kind of adds to the coastal feel. I like the board look. And then I'm also going to sand and kind of distress that a little bit just to make it look a little bit more rustic. And just kind of sanding all over just to make sure everything is down. Everything's kind of got the same vibe, and we have that beautiful background. Now, these are some more flamingos from the Dollar Tree. These two have their heads together, and they have these cute little legs with their like knees touching. But you know I can't stand the foil on these DIYs, so I'm going to take it off and use the cage. Now, usually when I take the tinsel foil off of these things from the Dollar Tree, you get like a great like plastic cage underneath. This came with like a solid cage that has like all the little pegs on the sides, which I wasn't really expecting. I guess I should have known by the way it looks on the back, but I'm going to make it work. I just want to recover that. You know, it is a really pretty color of pink, so you could leave it as is, but you're going to be stuck with all those tabs along the outside. And it does have these little eyelashes as well, and like a paper beak. And so I'm just removing that with some heat. And I'm going to pop off the little eyelashes as well from our little flamingos. Now I'm going to kind of start trimming it up a little bit. So I'm going to kind of cut them apart right there and right here, because we're going to attach that to that sign. So we're not going to need like those pieces connecting them for structure at all. They can just be connected at the knees. Now I wanted like some kind of a pink fabric to cover it, but something fun and unexpected. And so I'm going to use one of these little pink hand towels from the Dollar Tree. It's going to give me that nice fluffy like terry cloth fabric. And I'm going to use that to actually cover the flamingos. So I'm kind of like just kind of feeling where their legs are. I don't need to cover the leg parts. I'm just going to need enough fabric to cover the flamingos. And kind of just cutting it into two pieces with definitely more fabric than what is needed. I'm just going to kind of work on one flamingo here at a time, but I'm going to kind of use that as a template for the other piece. Okay, so I want to cover the flamingos with this fabric. Now, I thought I can just kind of cut here between the legs, a little slit, pull that up and start hot gluing that. I don't want too much excess fabric, but I want enough that I can cover up all of these tabs on there. I kind of wanted to go in and cut all of those off, but this was a really like brittle plastic material. I didn't think it was going to trim off too well, so I'm just going to cover them up. So I'm just using hot glue to attach the extra fabric onto the back of the plastic flamingo. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around. Now I'm going to go ahead and start on the head and the neck here, just kind of cutting off the fabric as I go and hot gluing that to the back, trying to get as good a coverage as I can without too much bulky fabric in the back causing trouble. And then the inside of the neck is a little bit of a trickier area, just cutting out any excess fabric and again just attaching that all with hot glue. And it gives it definitely a different look than the tinsel had on the flamingo. And I think it looks a little bit more fun and beachy. And I went ahead and did the same thing on this second one as well. And we have our two little terry cloth like flamingos. Now it does have the little holes there where the eyelashes were before. They weren't really salvageable, so I kind of just left it as is. Kind of left a little hole there, like a raised bump for the eyes, but that's okay. Now I wanted to kind of do just like a burlap ribbon here along the bottom, just to kind of create a bottom border to this sign. And then I'm going to use this little heart. This is a Christmas ornament that I got on clearance at Target, but you can use any kind of heart you've got. I liked the fact that this was this pretty color of wood and a really nice stain, and it fit perfectly here in between our little flamingo legs. Now we're ready to go ahead and start gluing the flamingos down to the sign, just kind of going around all the edges that are going to connect with the sign. And we're going to attach our little flamingo. I want these flamingos to look like they're standing with like a tropical background, but I want them to look like little lovebirds. So I'm also gluing down just the legs and anywhere that I think needs it to make sure that that stays put. And I thought about covering these with those little pink leather purses from the Dollar Tree. I have used that on flamingos before. That turns out really cute as well. Now I'm just going to do some hand lettering on here with just a white paint pen. And I'm going to have it say lovebirds because that's what they are, right? And I'm just doing like a skinny font, like kind of like a Raydun font. If you don't feel like you can letter like that, you could always use stickers or your Cricut and do some lettering, but that looks pretty good. And then to cover the little hole in the ornament, I'm just going to take some twine and we're just going to tie off a very simple bow. It's such an easy way to cover holes in ornaments like that where you kind of want to cover that up. Just going to glue that down inside on our little lovebird sign. And I think this flamingo DIY turned out super cute as well. And this is how it looks. Very, very cute. Now I want to hang this sign on my wall. So this was kind of a palette sign. I'm just going to go ahead and use some twine. And since it's a thick sign, I can use my staple gun, tie some knots, and just make a very simple hanger for the back of this. I almost always use twine. Sometimes I like to use the little sawtooth hangers that you can just nail right in. They're so easy. And here's our little lovebird sign. I think it's so fun. Now I wanted to give it like another like coastal beachy touch. So I'm going to use a sand dollar. This is one of the smaller ones that I got on Amazon, but you could totally use the bigger ones from the Dollar Tree as well if you wanted to recreate. And I thought about a starfish too, but I kind of like it with just a sand dollar like that. And here is the final product. Our little towel flamingo lovebirds. I hope you enjoyed that DIY. This one is a sign that I got at the Dollar Tree. It says sisters before misters. I'm just going to go with it because I really like the little blue frame. It's got like this foam heart on it. So I'm going to kind of try to remove as much of that as I can without causing any damage. Because I kind of like the burlap that's on there, the brown burlap. I think this is going to look really kind of coastal and fun with my decor with that blue faux wood with that like sparkly burlap on there. And then I plan to cover up like the sisters before misters. And then this is just another sign that I got at the thrift store. It's the perfect size for this. And it's kind of cute because it was actually a seashell sign, but we're going to make this extra special. Now, instead of painting it, I'm going to use some more of that removable wallpaper. You guys know I love this stuff. And I'm going to use just like the white board pattern. Just such a quick, easy way to cover a sign like this. And you don't even have to wait for your paint to dry. So I just went ahead and put it on there, and I'm just going to cut it with my sanding block. It's going to give me the perfect cut there along the bottom of the sign. Now, it was a little too skinny to cover the entire sign, so I am going to have to use a second piece and kind of fill in the gap here on the side. And I actually had like a scrap piece where I can line up the board just right. So once I have like the next board that would be repeating in the pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and attach that to the sign. And then again, using my sanding block to cut that off. And this is going to give us a great background for that skinny Dollar Tree sign to make a very substantial piece, and you don't have like a skinny sign hanging on your wall. Just finishing up the sanding on that. Now, I did want to distress it a little bit, and I wanted to take care of these black sides. So I'm just going to use some acrylic paint, and we're going to go all around the edges just because I thought the black was a little bit too much of a contrast for what we're going for on this sign. And I kind of want it to match the wallpaper on the sides. And then I thought it would be good to like distress, you know, with like a chunky brush, just to kind of, you know, make the boards look a little softer, kind of give it more of a coastal, weathered, beachy touch, just using a baby wipe to wipe off the excess. Now, I was trying to get the glitter off of this, which, you know how they are with glitter. I tried, but I'm just going to go ahead and start painting over this where it says sisters before misters. And I'm just going over it with some white paint, trying to get as much coverage over the writing as possible because I kind of wanted to make my own sign on this, but I loved the blue faux wood on there and the burlap, so I kind of wanted to save those parts and just replace this middle part. If you had another like wood heart that was this size, you could totally just keep layering signs. But I didn't really have anything that size, so we're just going to make it look better with paint. So once I have like a good outline, I can go in with that white paint and just fill in the inside of our heart. And this is kind of going to give me a blank canvas to help me cover up all of that writing. Now, this is some paint I'm using from Target. It's called Terracotta Pot. And I think it's a beautiful color. Look how pretty this is. I think it almost looks like a salmon color, and I think it looks great with the blue. So I'm going to go over where I just painted it white, my blank canvas, and we're going to paint this heart pink. And I love using like traditional like Valentine's Day colors, like pink and stuff like that, mixed together with my coastal blues. So once I have it outlined, I can just go ahead and fill in. This is a chalky acrylic that I got at Target. I'm just trying to go for maximum coverage to cover up all that glitter that was underneath of it. Now I'm going to use some of this twine from the Dollar Tree, but it's a little gnarly in some places. And so I like to go over it with a lighter first to burn off all the fuzzies and any of like the extra parts that are sticking out. And I thought we could use that twine to actually spell out our word on here. And I wanted to do like a cursive love. So I'm just going to kind of start here with the top of the loop for the L. And we're going to do like some rope lettering. So using hot glue, I'm just going to kind of loop that like on top, like a fancy L. We're going to bring it down and then we're going to loop it back the other direction, kind of like a cursive L, just kind of working one piece at a time. And this was actually easier to do than I expected. So I'm going to go up and around to start an O. And then we're going to kind of like do a little fancy loop across the O to come over, and we're going to spell out the word love like this. I thought this was really fun, and I like the different textures. I think it looks great with my decor, and it's just kind of unexpected. It makes this Dollar Tree sign look so much more high-end. So love was actually a pretty easy word to spell out in cursive here. Just finishing up the E. And I want to kind of make it go all the way to the outside of the heart, kind of like I did at the beginning of the word. Then I needed to kind of cover up this place that had the little flower on there before. So I'm just going to use a starfish. And then we can attach our little heart sign from the Dollar Tree. I'm just using hot glue to attach it to our thrifted sign. And I think they look really nice together. I thought we could use that same twine that we spelled out the word love with to actually do the rope border around this. It's going to give me a really thin rope border, but it's going to finish up that seam in between the heart and the sign on the bottom. And I'm just hot gluing that all around. I thought that was another fun touch on this project. Again, that twine from the Walmart, I love it because I love the thickness of it, but you definitely have to clean it up from time to time. Continuing to use hot glue all the way around. You could always use the thin Dollar Tree rope to border that out as well. But super cute. I hope they have these same exact hearts again this year. I haven't seen them yet. But then again, they only have a little bit of the Dollar Tree Valentine stuff out at some stores. Now I'm going to make a simple little expo here for the top, just using some of that Dollar Tree burlap. I just cut it in half to make two little thinner strips. And we're just going to do a really simple expo. I got some pink ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is just kind of like a sheer. And then I got some of this XO ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to have to show you on my Valentine's Day haul. I got so many great Valentine ribbons. So excited to craft with all of them. So we're just going to do a simple expo, layering all those together and then tying that off with a zip tie. Such an easy DIY bow to do, and it provides a fun little bow here. And I'm going to kind of put that here on the other side from where we decorated with the starfish on the right side. And then this is from the Dollar Tree as well. It's a little pink burlap rose. It's got a little bit too much going on with the stem and stuff. It's just making it kind of too thick to use the way that I wanted. And so I'm just kind of pulling off the papery part of that so that I can trim it down a little bit so it doesn't stick out as far. I just kind of want the burlap rosette part of it. And once I get it trimmed down, I'm just going to use some hot glue and glue that right in the middle where I have the little zip tie on my expo. And I love the rose for Valentine's Day. I think it gives it a nice little touch. Now, these are some of those laser cut craft board from the Dollar Tree. And these are just from the regular crafters section. And they have these beautiful little ornate hearts with like different cutouts. And I thought that would match really well. The brown is the same as like the rope. And it's going to provide another little Valentine touch right there underneath of our rope love word. And I love how this one turned out. I think it's so fun. Okay, this DIY turned out so cute. So another tinsel project from the Dollar Tree. It's the XOXO sign, and it's covered in this like sparkly tinsel stuff that Dollar Tree loves to cover their products in. But we're just going to go ahead and take all of that off, and it's going to give us a great cage to make our own little XOXO sign. So basically, it's pretty easy to unwind these. They have all the little tabs. You can just take them off. If it gets too difficult at any point, you can just go in there with your scissors and kind of cut it off. And I thought we could do something really kind of coastal and fun with this instead of that tinsel. So pro tip is these little lint rollers from the Dollar Tree work great at picking up that tinsel and glitter. Now, I was afraid that all the little pegs that were sticking out from holding all that tinsel on were going to interfere with our project. So I'm just using some heavy-duty scissors, the little KitchenAid scissors, and I'm just going to go in and trim all those pegs off just so I don't have to worry about trying to cover them in the final project. And as you can see, there are like tons of them. But they do cut off pretty easily if you have a pair of heavy-duty scissors. Now we're going to use the thick nautical rope cotton from the Dollar Tree. This is the 6-foot one, so this is the thick, chunky white. And I thought we could cover the letters with the rope and do some rope letters. So I find that my fabric scissors cut through that thick rope better than my strong scissors, actually. And I'm just going to cut out 2 pieces to cover up all the letters, and then I'm going to double that up because we have 2 X's, and so we can kind of make a copy of the first one. It definitely needs 2 pieces of the thick, chunky rope, though, to cover that because it's a pretty large letter on the sign. And then just going to hot glue the rope to the cage, and we have a perfect little X or an XOXO sign. This was really fun to put together and really easy. You just got to make sure that you don't burn yourself with your hot glue. I say that, yet you know I do it all the time, right? So we got both of our X's, so now we can start working on our O's. And same thing, it's about 2 rope thickness to cover up the XOXO. And you know, they have other words as well. I think they have one that says love. So you could do love as well, basically the same exact way. And I'm just kind of having the beginning and ending of the O kind of meet up at the bottom. Doesn't have to look perfect, and those rope edges can actually give you a little bit more character to a project, but I'm not trying to overdo the distress on those. So just a double loop of rope on both O. Now, once you hot glue that much stuff down to that cage, you do kind of have some craziness going on in the back. So I'm just cleaning up all the excess hot glue with some heat. And then this is the 9.5-foot decorative nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. I thought it'd be fun to do the contrasting brown color and a thinner rope like this to cover up these little pieces that connect the X and O's together. And just to kind of act as a bridge between the 2 different kinds of rope and the different letters. If you didn't want to do this, you could always just cut the letters apart. But I wanted them to all be one piece like this because it would make the piece easier to hang on my wall for Valentine's Day. So I just start out by hot gluing that to the back, twisting it around a couple times to cover up that connection, and then cutting it and gluing it to the back as well. Easy peasy, and we're going to do that 6 times, all the times that the letters are connected. And I like the 2 different ropes together. I think it provides definitely a nice contrast. It definitely goes with the vibe of the rope letters. So there we have XOXO. It's looking really cute. And I'm just going to go ahead and use some twine to make a hanger. Kind of pushing that out of the way so I can reattach a hanger at this point. And I'm just going to tie that twine off to make a simple hanger. Now, you could stop at this step because it is super cute. I'm going to take it another step and decorate it a little bit more, and you'll see that here in just a second. I was trying to think of ways I wanted to kind of cover like the back of the O's with like fishnet or something like that. But you know, that fishnet from the Dollar Tree has got like the really thick, wide openings in it. So I wanted a smaller fishnet. So I'm going to use one of these little ombre tote bags from the Dollar Tree. And this one has like the ivory and then it like ombres into pink. And I thought the pink would be perfect for Valentine's Day. We could do like a little pink fishing net for the back of the letters. So I'm just going to kind of cut the fabric in two, right where the ombre like changes from like ivory to pink, to give myself a nice piece of pink material that looks like fishing net, I think. I think this makes a great fishing net. And I thought we could use that to cover the back of the O's. It's going to give us a pop of color. It's definitely going to go with the coastal feel of this DIY. So I'm cutting it a little bit bigger than I need it to be. And then I'm just going to stretch it out, hot gluing it to the back of the piece. And this worked out perfectly. I was so glad that I thought to do this. I love working with these little ombre tote bags. If you see them at your Dollar Tree, be sure to pick them up if you do a lot of coastal DIYs, because I use both parts. I like to use the pink ones and I like to use the ivory part as well. And it's just a cheap, inexpensive way to get some fishnet for a DIY. So I'm going to do the same thing here on the other letter. Kind of cutting it to size as I go about, gluing it on. I don't want so much fabric that you're going to be able to see it on the outsides of the letters, but I want enough that I can stretch it out and glue it down and kind of give myself a nice netting to the back of the O's. And isn't that cute? I love it. I think it's so fun. I wanted to do one more touch, and so I'm going to use some of these little DIY wood stickers from the Dollar Tree just to add another pop of color, and I'm just going to attach those with hot glue to the X's, the pink ones, just for another little punch of pink and another little texture for our little coastal XOXO sign. And this is the final project. I think it looks so cute. Now, I did want the color a little softer on the heart, so I did lighten that up a little bit with that terracotta color, because I'm going to be hanging this on the same wall as that other DIY we used that great color for. And this is how it looks hanging on my wall for Valentine's Day. It's so fun. Okay. We're going to do another Valentine heart project, another one of those signs from the Dollar Tree. And look, this is the matching sign that I got at Goodwill. It's the same exact size as that first sign that we made. And so it's going to make a great pair piece. But I'm going to kind of do a whole different thing with this heart than I did on the first one. But I do want them to have the same background. So I'm using that white removable wallpaper in like the wood board pattern, and we're going to do exactly like we did before. Put that on there, cut another strip, and kind of piece that together. It's so easy to work with that wallpaper because you can just start and stop your pattern just like you would if you were wallpapering the wall. And again, you could always paint the sign to begin with, but this was just kind of a time saver, and it looks really cute too. Now this had that same black sides to the sign, so I'm just going to go in and distress that all over with white to kind of give it the same appearance as the white boards for this sign. Now I'm not going to do like rope love on this sign. I'm going to kind of decorate this one completely different, but I kind of wanted them to be a set. So I wanted them to be the same size and have the same kind of background. This is the other heart. This one's like got like the gray faux wood with the burlap. But again, I'm just going to pull the burlap off there because I want to start from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I just decided to use that as the back. That way I don't have to deal with all that crazy glitter that was on there. And we're just going to decorate the back of this one. And we're going to use some more driftwood. So this is some of that driftwood that I got on Amazon, but I'm going to use that Target driftwood that we used before for the slatted driftwood heart sign. But this is going to be kind of a different kind of a driftwood heart, and it's going to give you like another option if you like want more ideas. About covering the entire heart with the driftwood, but I wanted to kind of leave it this natural color of wood, but it was too closely matched with the whiteboard, no contrast whatsoever, and so I wanted kind of a pop of pink, and I'm going to use some of these little scrub washcloths from the Dollar Tree. You guys know I'm always crafting with all different kinds of materials I can find for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and this is no exception. I thought that would make a great border for our driftwood, and so the colors don't match. It's going to give me a contrast. I carefully iron that because I don't want that little washcloth to melt, and then I'm just hot gluing that over our little wood heart. This would have been easier to do before I attached the heart to the sign, but you know, we're going to make it work. So I hot glued it to the heart, and then I'm just trimming off the excess fabric. And this is like a great, like, mottled pink color, a really cool color and texture to this washcloth. This was the first time I'd ever crafted with those before, but I was a big fan on how this turned out. Now, to cover the seams around the edges, it's a little rough there where I just covered. I'm going to use some of this thinner brown rope from the Dollar Tree to frame that out. I kind of wish I would have used this thicker rope to frame out the first heart sign that we made. That way they kind of match a little bit more. But I kind of needed to use the thicker one for this one just because I covered it with that thick washcloth and I kind of needed a thicker border. And it's going to clean up any crazy cutting that took place there from covering that with that washcloth. But isn't that pretty, that material? Who knew like a little scrubbing washcloth could be so pretty? And now I can go ahead and start building. I'm just going to glue my driftwood onto that fabric. And I'm just trying to build out the shape of a heart. So you can see how different the pieces are. And again, just putting it together like a puzzle. I want my end result to look like a heart inside of a heart. And I'm kind of working back and forth, kind of going one direction and then kind of going the other, which is going to kind of give me more of that heart shape, and then kind of piecing the pieces together to fill it in. And it might not be the most even heart, but it turned out pretty cute. Now, when you get to like odd areas like this, just kind of make it work. You can always glue the pieces to each other, but sometimes you have to go through about 5 or 6 pieces to find one that was going to work. That's going to be the perfect shape and size to fill in the hole because I really want to give it the appearance of a heart shape. And then I'm going to keep doing that all along the top part of my heart as well, just kind of one piece at a time. And this is a driftwood heart sign, but it's totally got a different feel than the first project that we did. And filling in the last few pieces here. Trying to cover up all the pink from the washcloth so none of that shows through. And then just trying to find that final couple pieces to kind of give it that arch shape for the top of the heart. And trying to make it look as symmetrical as I can. Now, this is a silicone mold that I got on Amazon. It's linked below in my Amazon shop. And we're going to make some really cool little seahorses with it. So this is used for like fondant icing and stuff like that. But you can also use hot glue to make your own DIYs with these silicone molds. I think this is such a fun trick. I think this was the first time that I ever did it. I'm just carefully filling in the little seahorse molds with hot glue, trying not to use too much, just enough to fill it in. But if you do too much, you can always trim it up later. And then I'm going to pop that in the refrigerator for a few minutes to make that set up. I also found some of these little craft board Be Mine at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and I thought this would be really cute on this sign as well. I was trying to decide if I wanted to put it in the corner or on the heart. And I want to give it a beachy touch, and I'm going to use this color, which is Caribbean blue, just using a makeup sponge to paint that. You can tell that, the brown color, you have to go over it with a couple coats to kind of get a bright color. And our little seahorses have hardened up. So this is the final reveal of whether it worked or not. I'm just peeling the silicone mold back. And I also have some of these for like sea turtles and such. Such a fun way to make your own decor. And look how cute that is. I did overfill it a tiny bit, so I did have to trim it down a little bit. But man, the texture on these is unbelievable. So I just go in with scissors to trim off any excess hot glue that I don't want there. It's pretty obvious if you do overfill it, pretty much exactly where you need to trim it. I'm thinking that if I use like my more fine tip hot glue gun, I could get like a better, easier fill on those. But this was using my big kind of industrial Ryobi glue gun. It likes to squirt out a lot of hot glue. But once you have your little silicone mold hot glue things, you can always paint them. So I'm using that same Caribbean blue color, and I'm going to make 2 little blue seahorses for this project. And this is great if you're doing something off season, you can't get any of like the little wood sea shapes. You can always just make things from scratch with just hot glue. I was amazed at how cute these turned out. So I'm going to use some hot glue on the back of that Be Mine little craft wood piece, and we're going to put that over here in this corner. And then I want to attach the little seahorses to our little sign as well. And I really like the contrast of the pink against the blue. I thought about putting them on the driftwood heart or putting them in the corner, and I decided to end up going with the corner on those as well. I kind of want the driftwood heart to kind of stand alone, and I want to do 2 little like kissing seahorses over here to the right. And I think they look so pretty. And I'm just hot gluing the hot glue on with hot glue. So stinking cute. Okay, I wanted to make another quick expo for this one as well. So just using that brown burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use some of the XOXO ribbon again. That's white and pink. And then we're going to use some of this Shore Living seahorse ribbon from the Dollar Tree as well to give us a little pop of blue in that expo. And we're just going to put them in an X and zip tie this together. Cut off the excess zip tie and kind of arrange these and trim them down to size. Expos are my favorite because they're so simple to do. And you can make them out of just about anything. And I thought that'd be a nice little touch here at the top of the heart. We kind of did one on the other heart sign that we're going to be hanging this with. We're going to do this one here on the opposite side that we did before. And just glue that on to like the washcloth part of the heart. Now, instead of a little rosette for this one, I'm going to use a little seashell with a little touch of pink in there as well. Just something I had from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to hot glue that in the middle of this expo on this side. And this project evolved a lot. It's not originally what I pictured, but I love how it turned out. I think it's so interesting and fun. And check out the texture. Okay, you ready for another DIY? I just DIY'd this same exact book stack from the Dollar Tree for my Valentine's Day coffee bar the other day, but I'm going to show you another option. So it's already painted for Valentine's Day, and they had these last year. They have them again this year. I'm just going to go ahead and try to repaint these. And so I'm just going over it with some ivory acrylic. These book stacks are not covered in it's not like a painted wood. I wish it was because I think it would make it easier to paint. It's kind of a paper on top of the wood and it's really kind of on there. So I think it might be kind of hard to get off. So basically I just do lots of layers until I get just an ivory painting all over. And then I'm just going to tape off with some painter's tape the bottom two books so we can start painting this. And I'm just doing a bright red, candy apple red, to do the middle book in red. You could leave these as is, but I always like to customize my stuff, and I really like all my DIYs to kind of go together, and a lot of these DIYs today do. Now, this was the issue. Do you see this? I guess because it's, paper. So when I painted that on the coffee bar the other day, I did not tape because I didn't want to cause damage, and I did a lot thinner coats of the paint. So I went back, touched it all up, as you can see, and now I'm going to try to do some lettering on here. If you want your letters to look perfect, you could always use your Cricut or some little tiny letter stickers, possibly from the Dollar Tree, but I'm just going to kind of freehand this on. I don't want the paint to go everywhere, so I'm actually just using a red Sharpie from the Dollar Tree, and I want to put some words on here. So I do love as here on the top book, and then I'm going to do ocean here on the bottom, just kind of working from right to left, so my spacing will be okay. And I'm going to have this say, love as deep as the ocean. I thought that'd be really cute for my theme that I was doing for these Valentine's DIYs. So I do use a white paint pen to do this. And I just got some new white paint pens on Amazon. They're really good. I'm going to have to add those to my Amazon shop because I go through white paint pens like crazy. I don't know about you. Now, I wanted to decorate it a little bit, so I thought we'd use one of these little octopus, little craft board pieces from the Dollar Tree, like that maybe, and kind of tie the books together with just some of this red and white tiny gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I love this stuff. I picked this up like in all different colors for all different seasons. So cute. And then I thought we could put the little octopus right here on front. I'm not going to paint him. I'm just going to leave him that brown color. I think that looks kind of cute. And we have our love as deep as the ocean book stack. Very personalized, very cute for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to display it with a heart on top, so I didn't bother decorating like the top of the book, but you could if you wanted. Okay, are you ready for another Valentine's DIY? This is just a wood heart from like the home decor section at the Dollar Tree, but you could use like the little conversation heart ones from the Valentine's aisle. I think they're approximately the same size. This one might be a tiny bit chunkier. I am just painting the back in that candy apple red, just because it would be easier than covering the writing on the back. And the red doesn't cover the brown great, but we're going to try to make it work. And I did notice there was a little bit of residue on there, so I'm just going over it with another coat of red to kind of give ourselves like a nice red background. I kind of want to leave the sides white. I kind of like the two-tone effect. And then I thought we could decorate it with seashells. Now, these are those little tiny seashells from the little glass bottles at the Dollar Tree. You guys know I love these. I use these kind of shells all the time. I'm just going to use these. I'm trying to find like enough of them that are like the same kind of size and color. But you could always use whatever you have. But this size was perfect to do this with. Just trying to do a heart shape the best that I can here, all around the edges. And I like how the seashells, like the natural color, kind of pops against that bright red heart. And so now it's just a matter of gluing them on. I'm just gluing them with hot glue. And what I do when I'm gluing shells on like that is I just go that like lip, the outside lip of it, if that's going to be up like that, and then just glue that down. And that's usually enough to hold it on there. Be careful though, don't burn yourself with your hot glue. You could always use other kinds of glue as well, but I love hot glue for crafting. It works really well and it's so fast. And I'm trying to get as many Valentine's DIYs out for you as I can. And last one. We have a little seashell Valentine's Day heart. I think this is really cute, and I'm going to display this on top of those wood book stacks that we just made. This is how it turned out. Our little seashell Valentine's Day heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button. And when you're done watching all 10 of these, comment your favorite DIY below or just come say hello in the comments. I love reading your all's comments. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? We're trying to get to 12,000 subscribers. Okay. Next DIY, I just found this adorable like red crab at just like the regular like home decor stuff, and I loved it. I thought it went perfect with the red and white Valentine's Day theme with sea creatures. The only thing I didn't like about it though is that it's super glossy, so I'm going to go over it with some matte Mod Podge to kind of make it go with the other DIYs that I'm doing today, but that step is totally optional. Then I'm just going to break off a little bit of crafter's foam from the Dollar Tree and just kind of put that down inside just to fill it up. But you could always just like crunch up some paper or something like that. That would work too. Then we're going to fill it with some of these little like ivory foam roses from the Dollar Tree. These are really cute, and I thought like the ivory white color, it's going to go with our red and white color scheme, but it's also going to you know, be a nice contrast against the little red crab. So I do put a little extra piece of foam there on top just to kind of make these roses kind of go on like with a like dome shape, like they're kind of sticking up a little bit higher. And then I'm just attaching them one by one with hot glue to that foam until we fill it up, and it's just going to be a little tiny red crab filled with little ivory roses for Valentine's Day. Super simple. I love these little planters. I have these in so many different creatures now. They keep coming out with new ones. And this is how he turned out. Our little red crab for Valentine's Day, filled with little tiny white roses. Super cute little detail. This would be great for a tier tray as well. Okay, this DIY is probably my favorite one. I'm going to use 2 of these little wood trays from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to build a kissing booth with these. So I'm going to do some hot glue to attach them end to end like that, and basically I'm going to stand them up on their side, and that's going to be the long ways. It's going to be like the front of my kissing booth. Now, once I get them glued together like that, I was a little worried it might need a little bit more stability. So I just cut down a popsicle stick to fit, and I'm just going to reinforce that a little bit here on the back so it stays together. Super cute. It's a great way to make a bigger piece out of 2 smaller Dollar Tree pieces. Now I'm going to go over the whole thing with just some white acrylic, just to give myself like a clean background here to work with. And I found a great kissing booth sign at the Dollar Tree. They have them again this year. They have them in red or pink, and we're going to use that for the top, but basically we're just building the base here of that little kissing booth stand. So, you know, they have the little tiny kissing booth stands this year, but this is going to be a larger version. It's really cute. So I'm just going over all the sides with that. I'm not going to worry about the inside of that because that's going to be the back of it. But I just wanted a nice white background. Now I'm going to use some of this craft wood from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just measuring here. I'm going to go cut this down with my saw. And now we have 2 pieces of this craft wood. I love working with this stuff. And I'm just going to go in and paint that ivory as well. Just the same as the little trays. Now I'm going to go on the back and attach this with hot glue to the edges of the back of the sign. And this is what's going to hold up the kissing booth sign. Excuse my head. And I needed something a little bit stronger because, you know, the kissing booth sign we're going to hang up there is pretty large. So I'm using this thicker wood. But you could always probably get away with a ruler as well. That'd probably work. Just you need 2 sides for your kissing booth. And that's what we have so far. It's coming together. And this was actually functional as well. I displayed little Hershey Kisses on this that everybody could eat for Valentine's Day. So the little sign has like a little white sign in the middle that you can turn open or close, which is super cute. Mine didn't really want to spin too well though, so I'm just tying a little bit of twine just to make a little spacer there in the bottom, just to make it work a little bit better, and that seemed to fix it. But these are really cute, and again, they have these like in red or pink. Isn't that cute? And they have little white lips on them, and it's going to be the perfect size here to fit at the top of our little kissing booth. And I kind of did, like I did, you know, the white sideboards on the back so that you can kind of reach on the top of this and get Hershey Kisses a little bit better. But you could also do it the reverse way where you have like this on the front part of the sign by attaching the wood to the front of the sign instead of the back. And I just attached that to both of those wood pieces with hot glue. Now I wanted to decorate this with some sea creatures since I was doing kind of a ocean kind of red and white theme, and I thought red sea creatures, crabs, and lobsters would be great. And these are actually like, I think summer wind chime decorations, but you never know. A lot of my stores, I can still find the summer stuff like back either like usually in the party aisle at my stores. They don't sell out of it, they just keep it, and you can find stuff off season as well, and I do that a lot. So it does have holes for the wind chime. So the first step is I just had to fill that in with a little bit of spackle and try to sand that off to try to make that not so obvious. But I wanted to use this great lobster and crab, since they're both red creatures, to decorate the front of our kissing booth. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over the whole thing in ivory. And then I am going to just use a black Sharpie to draw the pattern back on. I could see it, as you can see, through the paint. And then what I'm going to do is paint these little guys red, but then you'll be able to see this outline through the paint is my plan. So I'm going to do the same thing here with our little crab, just drawing it all on. Super easy, just tracing. And that way this will have like the ivory background that's going to go with like my red and ivory theme that I'm using for these DIYs. So I'm just going to go over it with that red, candy apple red acrylic paint with a coat of that, and then we can decorate the front of our kissing booth. See how you can still see the black Sharpie through it? That's what I was hoping for. And I'm just going to attach those to the front of our kissing booth with some hot glue, and they fit on there just perfectly because it's rather a large little kissing booth. Super fun, and you could attach whatever you wanted to the front of it. You could do just hearts or stuff like that, or lips, that'd be cute. And then I'm just going to decorate it with some of these little tiny wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. Just to add a little bit more Valentine's Day fun to this DIY. Just in red and natural. And then I thought maybe I should decorate the side as well. You can't have too many hearts for Valentine's Day, right? And check out this cute little kissing booth that we made. I think it's so fun. I absolutely love it. I think it's my favorite DIY today. And I just chucked a bunch of red Valentine's Hershey Kisses on top of there, which I have to refill often because everybody's trying to get some kisses. And they're free. Hey guys, I have a private Facebook group. I always have a link below. I also have a Facebook page. I would love it if you'd follow me there. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest at Crafty Beach on YouTube. And I'm pretty active on all of those. I'd love to see you if you're on any of those social medias. Okay, this next DIY is going to be a thrift flip. I love to thrift flip like big signs because you can find like real wood signs at the Goodwill store. If you get it at half price day, you can get a great deal. So I'm just mixing some of my homemade chalk paint. This I mix calcium carbonate that I get on Amazon. I always have that linked in my shop. A little bit of water and a 2-ounce bottle of acrylic paint. And that gives me a cheap ivory chalk paint because I wanted to cover up, what was on this wood sign before. And I love these little paint rollers from the Dollar Tree, the hardware section. They are great. And for $1.25, you can just toss them when you're done and you don't have to worry about the cleanup. So I am just going over that with a couple coats of that chalk paint, trying to cover up all of the writing on there. And this is a fairly large sign. I'm going to use it for my shelf. And I am going to use my Cricut. I cut this. This is like a stencil vinyl that I get on Amazon, again in my Amazon shop. And I will share this Cricut file with you. I think I still have it. And so you could make this for yourself. But this is what I designed. It's going to say sandy toes and salty kisses. And I put a little crab on there and some lips. So totally coastal, totally Valentine's Day, all in one. Then I'm going to use my favorite paper transfer paper that I get on Amazon as well. This stuff works great. And peeling off the back of my stencil vinyl. And we can make a giant stencil to do a hand-painted sign for Valentine's Day. So we painted it ivory, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to line that up the best that I can. And when you're peeling this paper transfer paper off, see how I completely lay it flat, crease it back as tight as I can? That really helps it come off better without pulling off like any of the little pieces. And I love these fonts that I chose. Like, see the little heart details like in the sandy toes? I thought that was really fun. And I love this expression for Valentine's Day. It wasn't quite big enough, so I'm going to use a little painter's tape just to tape off the edges to make sure I don't make a big mess. Because we're going to go in here with that candy apple red. And I'm going to use another one of these little rollers. And we are just going to use the foam roller to do the stencil because it's such a big sign. It actually worked pretty well. You might have a little bit of bleeding though if you do this. And so I'm just going over my stencil. I'm going to do all of the writing and the little pictures in red. It's going to be a nice contrast and it's going to totally go with my red and ivory color scheme today. And then I give it a quick dry. So let's see what we've got here. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you pull your stencil off because you're like, oh, please work, please work, please work. And look how it worked pretty well, actually, for using a roller. Sandy toes and salty kisses. And I love a hand-painted sign. The only bad part about these adorable letters is that you have to weed all these little pieces out, but not too bad. But I like the little heart detail. I think it's really sweet for Valentine's Day. So we're just going to go ahead and weed all of this little painted vinyl out. All the way down. And if you do have bleeding, don't worry. You can usually touch it up. I like to distress everything, so I usually can get away with it. So looking cute. I'm just going to give it a quick sand to kind of start distressing it a little bit. Brought some of that texture out from the bottom of the sign where it was a little bit rough. Kind of a natural wood, but I kind of liked that. So just cleaning up all of the sawdust with a baby wipe. And then I want to make my stand, my sign stand up. So I'm just going to use some craft wood from the Dollar Tree. I have a little piece of it. And I'm just going to hot glue that on the back. You can see this was just kind of a raw wood sign that somebody had painted before. Leaving a little bit of space there between the bottom and my stand. That way it will slightly lean back when I stand it up and it won't fall over. Now I wanted to give it one more final touch. So I'm going to use some of this decorative nautical rope, the brown kind from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to make a simple rope border. I love doing rope borders. I think they really give a fun coastal touch. And they're so easy to do. And it's so much easier than making or building a frame. So I'm just going to attach that with hot glue all the way around our little sandy toes and the salty kisses sign. And this is like, I think the thinner brown rope, but you can use whatever you've got. If you did different colors, you could also use the white. And this is how it turned out. It's a pretty large sign. It feels like a whole shelf on my cabinet. Sandy toes and salty kisses, and it really ties all these projects together today. Okay, this is one of those little Valentine's Day like delivery trucks from the Dollar Tree. They have these every year. I just DIY'd this same one the other day and made a love letters mail truck for my Valentine's Day coffee bar. If you haven't checked out that video, please do. YouTube went down on Monday night. They took away all of my live views for my premiere. They took away all my views pretty much the entire night. And then it went from like my best video to my worst video, and they still haven't really gotten it fixed 2 days later. So come on, YouTube. So you might not have seen it because the algorithm was a mess, but we're going over this whole thing with just a bright red chalk paint. You can use acrylic as well. And then I'm just kind of using the other side for reference to kind of see what the cab of the truck needs to look like. And I just draw on a simple window and a door handle, maybe a few more details like a headlight. And then I'm just using a black paint pen just to draw on the tires. Easy peasy. Now I have like a blank canvas. I can make a little decorative piece for Valentine's Day, but it can also be a Valentine's Day sign. I also do a line to do like the bumper in between the cab and the trailer of the truck. And then I wanted to make this fun, so I'm just going to use a white paint pen and just do my lettering. Again, you could always use your Cricut or stickers for this, but a Ray Dunn font is usually pretty easy, long, skinny letters, and that's what I was going for here. And I'm going to have this say Cupid's Fish Market. I thought that'd go great with the different DIYs that we made today. All like ocean creatures and stuff like that. Ties in a little bit of Cupid. Just touching that letter up because I kind of messed up. And then I'm using just some of these little wood stickers from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a heart and like a little Cupid's arrow. And then I'm just going to go over Cupid's one more time with that white to really make that pop against that red background. Make it look a little bit better. Whenever you hand paint these signs, you're not going for perfection, but I kind of like the appeal of it looking hand painted. Like that. And then I thought one of these little wood fish from the Crafter Square at the Dollar Tree would be really cute on there. And then I decided to switch out one of those wood stickers for like a little Cupid, since it says Cupid's Fish Market. And I'm just using ivory acrylic, and we're going to paint that little bendy wood white fish. I love DIYing with these. And this is going to be so cute because this is going to be on top of the back of the truck. So it's going to really go with the fish market theme. And I'm just going with that red and ivory color scheme that we've been using on all these DIYs today. Whenever you paint the little bendy animals like this though, I use a little Cricut weeder to go in there and get all the paint out of the cracks. And then I'm going to use that same ivory color to do my little Cupid heart and my little Cupid arrow. And as you can see, I'm painting with one of those little makeup sponges from the Dollar Tree. Those work great. One of my viewers gave me that tip, and I have never forgot it because I love it. Now, I am going to distress with the ivory and a chunky brush just to give it a little bit of a coastal flair, kind of break up that red a little bit. Just give it a little bit more character. And then we can start attaching these. As you can see, I painted the back of the arrow to avoid the glitter. And just glue the glitter side down. And then I'm going to paint out, put my little Cupid down as well. He's so cute. And then I didn't think that Cupid was wide enough, so I did go over it with a Sharpie paint pen. I love those. Those are pretty good too. just to make that pop a little bit more. And then we're just gonna glue our little fish to the top. This was so fun to make, and I think it turned out really cute. What do you think about it? I thought the final touch would be a little red heart to make my little fish look a little bit Valentine's Day. So I just painted one of those wood sticker hearts from the Dollar Tree, and we're just gonna attach that right in the middle of the little fish, like that. And then distress him a little bit. And this is how he turned out. Our little Cupid's Fish Market truck. I think it's so fun and unique. And it definitely goes with these DIYs that we've been doing today. Okay, next DIY, I'm going to use one of these little hanging love words from the Dollar Tree. This is like the block letters with the little heart cut out. And I thought we could cover the letters with fabric. Now, I will share these designs. I think I can still share these. These are like my old Canva account, but I think I can still share them. I designed these for Valentine's Day. The white one, I did a fabric with sublimation. I did little red crabs and little red hearts all over it. And we're gonna make the L and the V covered with the white with the red sea creatures on them. Now, if you don't have sublimation, if you don't have a sublimation printer, you could totally do this with my designs and just use paper. No big deal. But if you have sublimation, I just used the white polyester fabric from the Dollar Tree to make my own custom fabric, which is so fun. They have a lot of great fabric at Dollar Tree now too, though, so you could always use whatever you could find. And I'm going to cover the L and the V with that. Now, full disclosure, the first time I tried to make this, I saw somebody do this and they kind of like burnt off the extra like fabric around the edges without having to cut it off. And it was a total failure. Avoid fire, people, avoid fire. So the O shape is kind of a little bit interesting. It's got like a heart cutout. And again, I'm just trying to use the back of those for reference. So I can cut this fabric down to size and get it as close as I can, since I can't draw around the entire letter because they're all kind of connected. And then we're also going to do like the E. And this fabric, the red fabric I designed, has little white crabs that I did little red hearts on, and then little like white lobsters to kind of go with our red and white sea creature theme we have going on today. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut out that letter as well. So now we have all of our letters cut out, and we can just attach it with Mod Podge. So I'm just going to Mod Podge the fabric down. First we're going to do the white ones, and that way the red can kind of overlap the white. Because if you did it the other way around, you might be able to see through the white fabric with the red fabric. So I thought the red should go on top. Once I get it on there, I thought that O was a little wide. But we're just going to try to make this work. And I'm also trying to like Mod Podge it to the other fabric as well. And then there is our little E. And you can cover this with just about anything. Super cute. You can always paint them as well. Or they're really cute as wood too. I was having some trouble there with that little joint, getting that to stick. But then I'm going to go over all the fabric with Mod Podge to make sure that it is all sealed and glued down to our little love letters. Super cute. And I always like to use the matte Mod Podge because I don't really like the sheen. Now, it looks really cute, and you could leave it as is. I'm going to do a border, kind of like the rope border that we did for our Sandy Toes and Salty Kisses sign, but I'm using that like thicker twine that comes in the big roll from Walmart. It's thicker than what you can get at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that to try to frame these out. Now, the bottom letters, you can't see all of them. So as you can see, I'm only gluing that to the parts, the edges that are exposed, because we're going to have overlapping letters, which made it a little bit more complicated to frame this out. But then I'm going to go ahead and use that same one to start my E letter, because it was kind of the same line. And just doing a little bit of hot glue at a time. I do have to burn that. You'll see me using a lighter on that, because there are like lots of imperfections, little pieces sticking out, little fuzzies that kind of take away from it. So if it gets too rough, I just burn it. And now we're just going to finish up with the O. And then I'm going to do the little heart inset as well. You could also put something behind the heart that kind of pop out. That would be cute as well. And I want this to be a standing sign because it's going to go on my shelves. And so I'm just using some of these little Jenga blocks from the Dollar Tree and just gluing one onto each side to make this little sign stand up. Easy peasy, super custom. Super cute for Valentine's Day, I think. Look at that. Love the little crabs and lobsters. So fun. I had a lot of fun putting this little DIY together. Okay, now this is a thrift find. I got this half price at Goodwill. You know, I only shop half price day because I'm cheap. And it is a wood buoy, and I thought this would be great to DIY. It's going to go great with our coastal theme. And it's old and dirty and kind of ugly, but that's okay. We can make it like red and ivory or color scheme. So I'm just going to use painter's tape to kind of tape it off here in the middle, kind of where it was before. And we're going to continue that like two-tone thing it's got going on, but use our colors that we use today. So I'm using candy apple red all along the top, doing all the sides. Now, if you can't find a fishing buoy like this, but you want to recreate this look, I have a DIY fishing buoy that I did for 4th of July. I did it my first year on YouTube, which was 2021. I think I shared it again last summer. You'll have to look under my 4th of July videos. You should be able to find it. And basically, I carved the little buoys out of that floral foam from the Dollar Tree. They turned out really cute. Now, I'm using some of the wood numbers from the Dollar Tree. I really like those. They're a nice large size. And I'm going to paint the 2 in ivory and the 14 in red. And I thought it would be fun. And, you know, because like buoys, like a lot of times have numbers on them to do the numbers for the date of Valentine's Day. So that's my plan. Just doing the 2 in ivory. And I did have to do a couple coats of the red to get that to pop because, you know, red's kind of hard to paint sometimes. Now I'm going to reverse my painter's tape and cover up the red part, and we're going to do the rest of the fishing buoy just in ivory acrylic. And so I'm going to do the little 2 in ivory on the red background, and then the 1-4 in red on the ivory background. So basically, this buoy was in perfect condition. Like really the only thing I had to do was paint it. And if you do DIY your buoys, I mean, what you're going to want to do is get those long pieces of floral foam from the Dollar Tree, not the ones that's like sliced into fourths or whatever. So pulling that off, I did have a little bit of bleeding there from my painter's tape, but no big deal. You can always just touch that up. And I really like the two-tone. And then here is our little wood numbers from the Dollar Tree. Super cute. I mean, it looks like, you know, like normal numbers that would be on a buoy, but then when you look at it closely, you're like, oh, 214. Valentine's Day. So I'm just going to attach those to one side of the buoy. And I'm going to hang I'm going to make a garland for the top of my cabinet. And I'm going to hang this from one side, like kind of down the side of my cabinet. It's going to look really cute up there. Now I'm going to use some of that big twine from Walmart to make a new hanger for it, just stringing a piece through and tying that off. Easy peasy. And we have a little Valentine's Day buoy. I thought it needed a heart though, so I'm going to use one of these little wood hearts from the Dollar Tree to finish that off. Right here on the top part of the buoy, and this is how it turned out. Our little 2-1-4 buoy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next, I have the final reveal. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and comment your favorite DIY below. Yes, I am still sick. I've been sick for about 9 or 10 days now, and hopefully I'll have some new content out to you soon. Enjoy the final reveal.
you hold my hand, look me in the eyes? You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love. Tell me what you wanna do. I'll do anything. As long as I can be here with you, everything's alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love, love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes? You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm